Cinderella. Once upon a time, in a faraway land, there lived a kind and gentle girl named Cinderella. She lived with her stepmother and two stepsisters in a large, old house. Though Cinderella's father had once been a wealthy merchant, after he passed away, her stepmother treated her terribly. Her stepmother and stepsisters made her do all the chores. Every morning, Cinderella swept the floors, scrubbed the pots, and tended the fire. Her stepsisters laughed at her old clothes and called her Cinderella because she was always dusty from the cinders. But Cinderella never complained. She was kind to the animals in the house, the little mice, the birds, and the cat. They loved her dearly and often helped her with her work in their own small ways. One day, a grand announcement came from the palace. The king was holding a royal ball. The prince was to choose a bride, and every young maiden in the kingdom was invited. The stepsisters were thrilled. They pranced about, choosing fine gowns and jewels, while poor Cinderella had only her rags. Her stepmother told her cruelly, "You may not go. You have no dress fit for a ball." On the night of the ball, the stepmother and stepsisters left in their carriage, laughing all the way. Poor Cinderella sat by the hearth and began to cry. Suddenly, a soft light filled the room. Cinderella looked up to see a kind old woman with a gentle smile. "Do not cry, dear child," said the woman. "I am your fairy godmother, and you shall go to the ball." With a wave of her wand, she turned a pumpkin into a sparkling carriage. The mice became strong white horses, the old dog became a driver, and Cinderella's rags turned into the most beautiful gown of silver and gold. On her feet were delicate glass slippers. "But remember," said the fairy godmother, "the magic will only last until midnight. You must leave before the clock strikes 12. When she entered the grand ballroom, everyone stopped to stare. The prince himself came forward and asked her to dance. All evening, the prince danced only with Cinderella, and they talked and laughed together. No one knew who the beautiful girl was, not even her stepsisters. But the clock began to chime midnight. Cinderella remembered the fairy godmother's warning. "Oh, I must go!" she cried, running from the ballroom. In her haste, one of her glass slippers slipped off her foot and was left behind on the palace stairs. Before the guards could catch her, she vanished into the night. Back home, her gown turned back into rags, and the animals gathered around her. Only the other glass slipper remained on her foot. The next day, the prince declared that he would marry the girl whose foot fit the glass slipper. His men traveled the land, visiting every house. When they reached Cinderella's house, the stepsisters tried to squeeze their feet into the slipper, but it was no use. Then Cinderella quietly stepped forward. Her stepmother protested, but the prince's men allowed her to try. The glass slipper fit perfectly. Then Cinderella drew the other slipper from her pocket. At that moment, her fairy godmother appeared once more and touched her rags with her wand. Cinderella's beautiful gown returned, and everyone gasped. The prince arrived himself and recognized her at once. Cinderella forgave her stepmother and stepsisters, who were ashamed of their cruelty. Then, with great happiness, Cinderella and the prince were married, and they lived happily ever after. The end.